Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Saka here with another Saka Speaks on video, and we're taking a break from the gaming videos this week to address a pretty important announcement in my life in the sporting world, and that's the retirement of Dale Earnhardt Jr. If you've been around my channel for the last year or so, you know that every Thursday during the NASCAR Monster Cup season, I post a video of racing. And Dale Jr. is my driver. He has been since 2001. He inherited me through his father, and I've been a fan of his ever since. At first, it was the name to say at least I can root for another Dale Earnhardt, and had that optimism that Dale Jr. will become an amazing driver, even though he's not the intimidator that people expected him to be. He still carved out an amazing career, one that any driver could be proud of owning. I would love to have on my back shelf 2 Daytona 500 trophies. I would love to have a Martinsville clock. I would love to be the most popular driver year after year after year and have an undying fan base that sticks with you when the times were bad. And boy, we Dale Jr. fans remember when times were bad. The winless seasons, the droughts, the Michigan wins that always seemed to pull it back. And then once Dale Jr. sort of got into a rhythm and started to have fun, he swept Pocono, and we were feeling legit, like championship contenders, and that was an amazing time. But to hear him announce his retirement is not unexpected. He's been around the sport for a long time. He's been driving for 18. Now, 18 years in a job, at least in the Army. 20 years is retirement, so 18 years. He's 2 years short of an Army retirement. I know some people spend 40, 50 years in a job, but in a highly physically demanding, mentally demanding, time-consuming career, 18 years is a long time to put your body and mind through it. To put in perspective, in 2000, when he was a rookie, I was in the middle of high school. Like, I was dead in the middle of high school. I hadn't graduated yet. And in the time that Dale Jr. has been a Cup driver, I have been able to graduate high school and then join the Army and then do 5 years in the Army and then get out of the Army, then go to college, change my major in the middle of college, and then graduate college and then get a job and have been in the workforce for several years after the fact. And Dale Jr. is now, just now, announcing his retirement. I imagine the concussions took a toll. You know, it's that moment when you start to feel like mortal, like when you're young and a rookie, you throw caution to the wind, you don't think you can get hurt. And when you get hurt and you realize that something is wrong and it's out of your control, that has got to be frightening. That's a gut check. And poor Junior, like, just looking at his social media during the rehabilitation, you wonder, can he get back to even being normal, more or less getting back into a seat of a race car? So the fact that he is racing this year is just incredible. I think that this year is the icing on the cake for Junior to step back and enjoy his last year, to have no pressure. Obviously, the championship is looming over the head, but if he doesn't win a championship, it's not going to detract from his career and certainly not going to detract from his personality. I had the opportunity to speak with Dale Jr. just momentarily, as many fans who get autograph signings do, and just in those 10 to 15 seconds, you could tell that he wasn't just signing an autograph and passing the autograph along like Kyle Larson did to me. I still like you, Kyle, but I'm a little upset. But Dale Jr., he talked to me a bit, and just something that small. You know, Dale Jr. realizes that his fans are there, and he talks about Junior Nation, and he really gets it. And that's so cool that someone who has such a big fan base doesn't take them for granted, and made little old me feel important when he signed this very card. So Dale Jr., if you ever see this video, I hope you do, but if you don't, meh, you probably won't. If you do, this is the car you signed for me in Indianapolis a few years ago. It's the All-Star Game car from Chicago. You signed it right there. And just that little interaction there, it solidified my love for Dale Jr. and to think that this is the guy to follow. He's a real, genuine guy, and that's what I get from reading Bob Pockris and Jeff Gluck and the people that have reported on NASCAR for years, and they think how genuine of a person Jr. is to talk to sit down. He isn't Dale Jr., the race car driver. When you talk to him, he's just Dale, and that is so cool that he can just sit down and open up and be himself. And I think that's the most important thing for him after retirement, is to open up and be himself and do the things that he wants to do, spend time with people he wants to spend time with and he's able to spend time with, and just take a load off, because when you are the son of the 7-time NASCAR Cup champion and you're held at such a high expectation and so many people are dedicated to you, that is a weight that if you have a competitive car and don't bring home the win, you've got hundreds of thousands of people yelling at you, telling you how horrible you did, or lifting you up, and you're under a microscope, and it takes a very thick skin and a lot of patience to live under a microscope. And Dale Jr. has taken it with stride, and he hasn't let it get to him, at least from what I've seen, and that is really cool. I'm glad Jr. is able to set a date for himself, as he said in his press conference. To set a date that you know you're retiring is much more empowering to a person, more or less a race car driver, than having it swiped up from under your feet with no say. Drivers are controlling in nature. They like to have things their way. You know, they make the rules. They control the car. They put the car where they want the car to be. They are in control. It's just the mentality that you have to race, and to be told, well, I'm sorry, you were looking forward to racing tomorrow, but now you can't. And I'm the one that is telling you why. You know, that's a kick in the gut for a race car driver. You almost want to get better in spite of a doctor or in spite of yourself, to get back in the car to prove whoever said you can't do it wrong. And that's just that competitive nature. So it's good that Dale Jr. is able to set this date. I'm happy that now that I know this is his last season, I can make a more concerted effort to get to a racetrack, because if we take it for granted that our favorite driver is going to be there next year, you know, let's save up a little more money. The race itself might suck. I'm looking at you, Indianapolis. I might not go this year, but now knowing that these are the last times that I can see Dale Jr. on a cup track, now I'm more inclined to go. I'm wanting to see Dale Jr. compete one last time in his element. I'm looking forward to seeing him race one last time, but it will be bittersweet when he steps out of that car. And he's not a casualty of war when it comes to driver retirements. We've seen the string of retirements lately. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards seemingly out of nowhere, and Dale Jr. It makes you wonder who's next on the retirement list. Matt Kenseth came in with Dale Jr. Is Matt Kenseth looking to retire? Kurt Busch is only 1 year behind Jr. Is Kurt having fun? We know how Kurt Busch used to be, and he wasn't enjoying himself. Is he enjoying life now that he's got a Daytona 500 under his belt? Does he feel competitive enough to still keep racing for a few years? And then we'll get into the realm of Kyle Busch, perhaps, or maybe Brad Keselowski a few years after that. Who is going to be the superstars of NASCAR when these guys leave? Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott are certainly favorites. Jimmy Johnson, even though he came in, 3 or 4 years after Junior, he's got a few years left in him, but eventually Jimmy will hang up the hat too, sooner rather than later. I mean, the NASCAR that we have loved over the past 10 years is going to drastically change, and Junior is a big part of that for sure. Will his fans continue to go to the racetrack? Will his fans pick up another driver or their merchandise? Or will people who are there just for Dale Jr. say it's not worth going anymore? We've seen Junior race, and now no one else quite fits the bill. It's going to be interesting to see in the next couple of years. I just want to say to Dale Jr., thank you for being you. Thank you for staying humble. Thank you for inspiring race car drivers to never forget your core audience. Thank you for your humor. Thank you for taking time out for me, especially. And I'm going to be bringing a couple cars to the track hopefully this year. I don't know if I want to pull out the Batman Streak Breaker from Michigan, or do I want your Daytona 500 car sign? I'm not sure. But Dale, thank you for everything that you've done for me, for your fans, for the sport of NASCAR. And you do you, man. You take time off. You do what you want to do because you've certainly earned it. Don't look back on your career in shame. Don't look back and think, I could have, or I should have, or I would have. You did it right. You did it right, man. But that's going to do it for me in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, of Saka Speaks On. If you are a Dale Jr. fan that found this video from a YouTube search and you happen to be a video game fan, check out my channel. If you are a Saka fan and don't like NASCAR but watch this anyway, thank you for tuning in. And if you're a mixture of the two, then good on you. You're just like me. But that's going to do it for me in this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next Saka Speaks On video. Dale, yeah.